G'day guys, welcome to the channel. Today I'll be doing a side-by-side comparison with two of Rolex's most cross-shopped dive watches, and that is the Yacht-Master and the Submariner. So pinning these together side by side, hopefully with this comparison I can help you out with choosing which one is right for you. Now, within the Rolex professional dive range, the Submariner is the go-to. It's the one that fits a lot of people's wrists from medium to large. And then when you start getting into the deep seas and the sea dwellers, that's more for the bigger people out there with the thicker wrists. But for a lot of us, the Yacht-Master and the Submariner are the two that come across our shopping lists. So let me start off with the Submariner. And let's just pretend the examples I have are in all steel, because more likely than not, the all steel variants are the ones that people are going for. So here in Australia, retail for a no-date sub, steel, the OG, it goes for about 15,000 Australian retail. However, in the used market, the prices do become a bit more crazy. We're talking about that 17 all the way up to $22,000 to $24,000 on the gray market, depending on the configuration. So no dates about 15, gray is about 17, 18, maybe 19. And then the date models range from about that 20-ish in the 22 range if you start going for the Starbucks. And the Hulk, man, the Hulk is going for about 30K at the moment. So looking at those prices, it does skyrocket in the secondary used gray market. And for good reason, because the Submariner, when you look at watch in the dictionary, typically the Submariner comes up. It is the classic, iconic, timeless design of Rolex, and just in general with any watch. If you go for a Submariner, essentially, you can just be done with the watch game, enjoy life, and just move on, right? So the Submariner. I've got the Bluesy. It's a 41 mil, steel and gold. And again, let's pretend it's the all steel variant. The Submariner is a sporty watch. It is very substantial. In terms of its dimensions, on the wrist, it does feel like a substantial watch. It is a lot heavier than the Yacht-Master. And with the 41 mil, lug to lug, we're talking about 48 mil lug to lug, thickness of about 12.3, and a lug width of about 21 mil. Now, you could save yourself some money and go for the 40 mil version, because in reality, if you go 40 or 41, it doesn't matter. It's really the same thing. If you go for the previous generation, you might only get one with a power reserve of about, I think it's 2 days, 48 hours, where the new stuff has a power reserve of about 72 hours, if I'm not mistaken, so about 3 days. But if it's gonna be your one and done watch, the Submariner at 40 or 2 days worth of power reserve, you're totally fine with that. Now, the pros and cons to this watch. The pro, it is the most iconic watch in the world, probably top 2 most iconic next to the Speedmaster. So ultimately, if you're wearing a sub, people are gonna notice that, especially other watch nerds like me and Joe Blow down the street. And it's just the safest bet, especially because the steel variation doesn't have polished center links like the steel and gold here, that the middle center links are all polished gold. So because majority of the case and bracelet is going to be in that brushed finishing, you're going to be able to have that watch for a long period of time without noticeable scratches on it there. So you can take it with you in a lot more different occasions when whether you're going to the beach, going to do your daily chores, or even dressing it up for a more formal occasion. It's going to be a beautiful choice for you. Now, on top of the rugged aesthetics of the all steel, and as well as the versatility, you also have a better clasp overall. So when we compare this with the Yacht-Master has that easy link design that's found in a lot of other Rolex models, like your Sky Dwellers, Datejust, Explorer 1s, Explorer 2s. That easy link is fine. It's totally fine. It's better than nothing. However, the glide lock in this clasp system is phenomenal. That's probably, if you had to make a choice between Yacht-Master and Submariner, if you had a smaller collection, or if you didn't have a collection at all and you just wanted to choose one of the two, the Submariner is your go-to. Flexibility, versatility, ruggedness, as well as that adjustability of the glide lock system, and it's hands down the best clasp that I've ever experienced. A lot of positives going for this watch, now some negatives. So from the negative perspective, because it is a steel sports Rolex watch, a professional watch, it isn't gonna wear as slim as the Yacht-Master. Even though it's not that much big of a difference, it is noticeable when you compare both of these. The Submariner is more utilitarian, tool-like, whereas the Yacht-Master is more dressy and suited up. If you're gonna go for a suited up option, or if you want a suited up option, look, Submariner is totally fine. However, because it lacks that polished center links, even the lugs on the Yacht-Master is polished, it's not gonna be that flashy flash bling bling that you're gonna expect out of the watch. Now granted, the Submariner has a ceramic bezel that livens things up, right? It makes it look more expensive than what it is, even though it already is expensive. It looks more expensive, so that's where the dress up part comes from, is the ceramic bezel as well as the black lacquer dial. Overall, the Submariner is a great package. If you can get one for a relatively good price, the 40 mils are going for a decent price. So a no date 40 mil can run you about $15,000 or $16,000 Australian, even though the retail for one brand new is 15. Good luck trying to get one. I recommend, if you're gonna go for a Submariner, go for one on that 40 mil version, used, and don't overpay for these, right? Now, if you don't have a large collection, the Submariner is my choice for you. If you're wanting to just have a minimal collection and you want to use these watches to run it through its paces in different occasions, go for the Submariner. Now, moving on to the Yacht-Master 40. As I mentioned, the Yacht-Master is more of a dressed up Submariner. When we're talking dimensions, it's 40 mil case diameter, 47 mil lug to lug, and a thickness of 11.5 millimeters with a lug width of 20 millimeters. Now, it isn't a big difference. However, it is noticeable on the wrist. When you're wearing the Yacht-Master, it feels more like a Datejust 41. Now the thickness, 11.5 millimeters, it isn't a massive drop compared to the Submariner, but it is noticeable. It'll fit under cuffs a lot easier, and because the case itself is fully polished, you're gonna have some of that bling factor, some of that dressiness that comes with the watch. Now the bezel, comparing the two, the ceramic and the precious metal, if you go for the all steel Yacht-Master, the bezel is gonna be in precious metal platinum. However, that does come with a caveat. When you're going with a Submariner, the ceramic bezel doesn't scratch. Sure, it might crack or chip under heavy force. However, for day-to-day use, it's gonna look brand new for a long period of time. The Yacht-Master, however, because it's made out of precious metal and mine's made out of solid Everose gold, if I ding it, it's gonna be replaced in the future. If you scratch it, there's no way to actually fix that. Sure, a light polish might help. However, because it is a solid piece of metal, precious metal at that, you're gonna find that replacing it is gonna cost you a bit of money. I think in Australia, it's about 2,000 or 3,000 Australian dollars to replace the bezel. That's the reason why I say if you want a Rolex diver, but you have a smaller collection, I always recommend going for the Sub, because it can take you to a lot more places as opposed to a Yacht-Master where you're kind of relegated to not be as risky with your behavior. So like, let's say for example, going to the beach, sure, you can take this to the beach, like it's made for it, right? But because you have that polished case, as well as in the steel variant, you have the polished center links and the precious metal on the bezel, any thick rock that finds its way onto your watch and scraps the living hell out of it, it's gonna be shown a lot more. It's gonna be much more noticeable. So on top of that, as I mentioned, I creamed all over the Submariner clasp because it is fantastic. The Yacht-Master clasp is very generic within the world of Rolex, right? You have the Easy Link bracelet, and in all honesty, I actually don't use it myself personally because I've dialed in the fit relatively well, pop. I don't need to use it. And it's nice to have. And in the clasp itself, you have 3 levels of micro adjustments with the invisible or hidden notches that gives you 2.5 mil of adjustment, more or less. But the wearing experience overall with the Yacht-Master, The Yacht-Master is actually more comfortable than the Submariner. Because the Submariner is bigger, it's going to be naturally a touch heavier, and it is noticeable if you wear this watch on a longer period of time. Now, the Yacht-Master, although it is a great option, and although it is a more suited up Submariner, I don't recommend choosing this one if you do have a smaller collection. If you want to keep your collection small, or if it's just a one and done, the Yacht-Master is probably not the best watch for you to go after, for the reasons that it's going to show wear a lot easier. It's a lot more precious because you have that precious metal on the bezel, and obviously if you ding it or damage it, it's going to cost you money. And finally, in terms of its flexibility and versatility, in being able to wear it in different occasions, I would say that Submariner will probably be your best bet if you want to tick all the boxes with just one watch. The Yacht-Master, it's fantastic. It's a lovely watch, and if you don't care about the comparison, you just want to go for the Yacht-Master as a one and done, I would say go for it. You can't go wrong with either of the two. But with the Yacht-Master, keep in mind that it is more expensive at retail, but you could get it at retail. So here in Australia, we're touching that 20K mark now for a Yacht-Master 40. Two-tones, we're touching that 28K, which is crazy. But in the used secondary grey market, a new example might fetch you about 22, whereas a used example, you might actually save some money. And I've seen a few going for like 15 or 16K, which year-wise would only be about like a 2 or 3 year old example for 15 or 16K. To summarize this video, wearing both watches at the same time, the Submariner straight away feels a lot heavier. I don't have the exact weight of it, but it's definitely a lot heavier. In terms of presence, the Submariner has a lot more presence. In terms of its bling factor, so to speak, this is obviously more blingier because of the polished elements as well as the center links and the actual case being polished, where this, if it was all steel, would be more tool-like in a sense. For me personally, which one would I go for? Because I have a collection, I'd go for a Yacht-Master. So if I had to redo everything again and choose just one Rolex dive watch, I'd go for a Yacht-Master because I have a collection. However, if I was going to do a downsizing exercise and just have 3 watches, I'd skip the Yacht-Master and go for a Submariner. So in a perfect world, if I was to have a 3-piece collection and I needed a Rolex diver, I'd just get a steel Submariner, probably a Starbucks just to keep things fresh with the green bezel. A Starbucks would be my choice. Though, because I do have a collection going on, and I have about 7 watches in my collection, if I needed to get rid of any of these two, I'd probably get rid of the Submariner, keep the Yacht-Master, and get something else, right? Hopefully this video has been helpful. It's a bit of a longer video than I'd like to do, though I just want to get this one out of the way because looking online, there haven't been many actual side-by-side comparisons out there, which is strange. But let me know in the comments below, which one would you choose, Submariner or Yacht-Master? That's the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Catch you on the next one. Take care.